Hey, it's Fayd. So I want to talk about Garuda. Before I do that, I guess I'll just do this. Magame did this in his video, but he was very misleading. He acted like you needed to absorb damage to your shield to kill enemies, and you don't. I could just do that with the base value. Those guys would all be dead. So, yeah. She's actually much stronger than people are giving her credit for in that regard. Next, Brozyme's video on her was actually just kind of disgusting, I think, but he's a meta slave, and so she's not meta, he doesn't like her. I usually think his videos are okay in some ways, but he's really focused on star chart, and that's about it. Ironically enough, though, Garuda is actually extremely powerful in the star chart, so I think he just really didn't put any time or effort into her, and that's what happened. Now, as far as her abilities are concerned, her passive is the lower her HP is, the more damage she does, up to 100%, as you can see there in the upper right. And sometimes it'll tell you like Death's Gate or Death's Door or something when you hit that max percentage, but it didn't this time. And as you can see, when I heal, it goes down. You can use that even, excuse me, you can even use it for Arcwing. Maybe not Arcwing missions, but Arcwing like Orb Valist or Planes. You can get yourself to low HP, hop into the Arcwing, and then you'll be low health, but the Arcwings have shields, like decent shields. And like an Elytron 4 is going to do a ton of damage. It's hilarious. So her 1 is maybe one of the best ones in the entire game. It leaps really far, gives you a frontal shield that blocks all damage, and then turns a vast percentage of that damage, like a multiplier of that damage actually, into that orb at the top. So the orb at the top is like 10% of the enemy's base health or something like that. And then like the damage that you block with your shield also adds to that. It's like, for me, a 4x multiplier at 200% power strength, so at 100% it'd be what, like 2x, something like that. Pretty strong. And on top of that, if something is like below 35% health and you leap to them, they instantly die. Okay? Which, again, it's pretty cool. Not as useful, but still really cool. Now, her 2 is also a leap with the same range, and it does a percentage of the enemy's health per second in damage, which you can't buff with any mods. It's just 1% of health, I think, mitigated by armor. And then it heals for a percentage of your health per second. You can have up to 3 of them at once before they start disappearing. And see, if I do this guy right here, then one of them will fall off, right? And these last like 20-something seconds, so it's not the duration that's doing that. It's really hard to kill you when you're in this if you have enough power strength. Like, I can actually stand in the middle of 5 of these 120s and just let them shoot me and I don't die. I also have Arcane Grace and Guardian, so that does help, but still, it's a really strong heal. It's actually kind of cool. There's like a weird color. But yeah, that's the 2. And it's not like a Trinity Bless, but it's still a very good heal, and she needs a heal because of her 3, which sacrifices half of her HP for a percentage of her maximum energy. So this scales with efficiency, which means the more efficiency you have, the more energy you get back. I don't run efficiency on her, but I don't run negative efficiency either. So 4 of these, and I hit my max energy. Okay? But you need health to do it. So I'm full health. There you go. I can just keep doing this. If I have 3 of these up, I can do it and I never die, like, or even get close. I can barely drop down to half HP if I do this for like a while, right? So it's basically like having Rage or Hunter Adrenaline, but without having to use them. And being able to do it at will. Then her 4, just you charge it and it goes through walls. It has like a 55-meter range, and it makes enemies take bleed procs, and also makes them take bleed procs from anything that hits them, depending like on a percentage chance. So you can get it up to 100% chance at 200% power strength. The duration was out there. It's like 11 seconds for me. I don't have negative duration, but it's not very high. And they're dead. So that's 100% chance to proc bleeds. And you're proccing bleeds on 10% of an enemy's max HP because of your 1, even without having them damage your shield or charging your 1. So, excuse me. Basically 10% of their max HP times 4 is going to come out to just straight up killing them with bleed procs, according to how bleed procs are supposed to work. But for some reason with this, bleed procs do more damage than they should, so they're actually doing, I think, over 4 times the damage they should be. But, I mean, I'm not going to complain. It doesn't matter if the enemies are aware or not, they still take the same damage from it. So, the way that this all works together is you can go into a group of enemies, shield yourself, heal yourself, ult them, and then kill them with your 1. And if you go into a group after using your 1 on the strongest enemy, then you're going to have the highest damage gain from that, right? So if you have like an Eximus unit in the middle of a bunch of like weaker enemies, you can just use your 1 on them and then charge up the 1 and shoot it, and they're all dead, right? Like, it's really powerful. If they have armor, they aren't, but then you just use your ult and then use your 1 and they're all dead. The ult also works with things like Octavia's mallet. It just instantly kills anything that shoots it. Literally, they're dead. You don't even see a bleed proc, they just die. Ton of stuff like that. She's extremely fun to play. She has a lot of options because you can do things like, you know, jump into enemies with your shield, get yourself super low health with your 3. Oh, excuse me. And then just shoot them for double damage if you want. She's got decent base values, so her health is okay, her armor's okay. Her energy's, you know, not god tier, but whatever. You can get more of it whenever you want. Now, as far as the build, I think this is probably the best build you could ever run for her if you're not trying to just be a pure dedicated healer or something like that. It's Forma, but it works, right? You've got almost exactly your 200% power strength. Decent range, which she does need for her heal. Efficiency, again, it's nice, but you don't have to have it. I prefer duration. Oh. And since you're running Transient Fortitude, you need to be able to run continuity. And my mods aren't maxed because I'm lazy. But yeah, I mean, if you had to save some capacity because, you know, you're using all the Umbral mods, then you could take out Stretch and put in Augur Reach, and that would get you the last point that you need. Because right now, if I had max continuity, I'd be at 7, and that would be it, and then I would need 1 more point, so I could just pop Reach in there and I'd be good to go. Or we can use like an unmaxed Transient Fortitude, anything like that. The reason I have my Umbral mods like this is because I didn't want them maxed out, or even close. I wanted to get them much better than the originals when combined, so that I could have the best possible like result while still being able to use maxed builds with any aura slot and an augur mod instead of like a stretch mod, for instance. So I'll probably at some point when I max my flow and continuity pop another Transient Fortitude in that's like 1 away from max or something, or 2 away from max, I don't know, just to be able to, I'm not sure if it would actually hit the 200%, but I'll have to mess with it. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. Anyways, like I said, this is basically as good as it gets for her. Grace and Guardian are optional. If you don't have them, that's fine. You can use Energize too, but she really doesn't need it. I really like this Warframe, and yeah, I think people are totally wrong about her, but again, she's not going to be meta because she doesn't do something like meta in this game is basically either you blow up bosses really quickly, you buff damage against bosses, or you defend objectives well, or you heal. And so damaging like non-boss enemies is sort of not something that is really sought after, even though that's kind of the bread and butter of the game. It's not something like, because that's kind of what every Warframe does, right? At the same time though, Garuda, in my opinion, just because of how good her kit is, she does damage. It scales infinitely. And like, this is the last thing I'm going to show. Kind of like I said earlier, if you're fighting enemies that don't have armor, she's a lot stronger. With armor, you need your ult to kill them, but without armor, if you do just let them like hit your shield and, you know, build up damage like that, then you can charge this up. They'll get to a pretty high number. Yeah. So anything non-armored, she can literally just obliterate. Infinite scaling again because it's based off their max health. And anything armored, she can do the same thing. It just means she has to ult first. And if she does ult first against non-armored enemies, it's the same situation. They're going to die without charging up your one. Okay? You just throw it out and they're dead. So yeah, peace out. I hope this was helpful for some people. I would say she's probably one of the most fun Warframes in the whole game. At least for me. And good luck.